All right, we have returned to open session. All right, at this time, we are going to the public hearing on district e-learning. Let's see. This time is, we'll open the floor. Is there, okay, I'm sorry, there's the motion. My apologies. Is there a motion that the Board of Education open the public hearing on district e-learning program?
So moved.
Second.
Do we need to vote on that?
Does there need to be a roll call on it? Yeah.
Okay. Kathy, can you call the roll?
Okay, Mr. Marhol?
Aye.
Mr. Barsadi?
Aye.
Mr. Muirhead?
Aye.
Ms. Gunn?
Aye.
Ms. Kleiber?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Aye.
The hearing is open.
All right, is there any discussion on the district's e-learning program? No. All right, then is there a motion that the Board of Education adjourn the public hearing on district e-learning?
So moved.
Second.
Kathy, can you call the roll?
Okay, Mr. Barsadi?
Aye.
Mr. Muirhead?
Aye.
Ms. Gunn?
Aye.
Ms. Kleiber?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Marhol?
Aye.
Mr. Hunt?
Aye.
Hearing is closed.
All right, at this time, is there any public comment?
There is not.
Okay, then are there any proposed changes to the agenda?
No.
All right, then that brings us to the superintendent's report.
All right, I am very excited that we have a group of student presenters here tonight. It's my understanding that it's the Hauser Sign Language Club. I do know sign language, but I'm pretty rusty right now, so I'm very eager to hear from all of you. So, Chris, you want to, Chris Arvalis is our assistant principal, and give an introduction to this group?
Hi, everyone. So this is our sign language club. It's one of our co-curriculars that we run here at Hauser that run after school free of charge to all of our families. This is a new one that Miss Hankey, who is a new paraprofessional at Hauser, offered up. She's like, I know sign language. I think the kids would benefit from learning this. And I was like, absolutely. I think the proof's in the pudding tonight, having these guys here ready to share what they've learned. So I'm going to turn over to Miss Hankey, and she can explain what the kids are going to be sharing with you tonight.
A little bit shorter. You're fine. Yeah, so I had some kids, and they picked out like what they wanted to like sign and like show you guys. It's just stuff that like we've done for the past 7 weeks, and I'm really proud of them. They've all worked like super hard, and they're all so smart, so I really appreciate them and all their participation and dedication. They're doing amazing. So they're just gonna come up here and then show and like tell you guys like what they're gonna do. So I am excited. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Harmon. That's a basic introduction on how to introduce yourself in sign language.
Hello, my name is Asher, and my favorite color is orange.
Hello, my name is Jeremiah. My favorite color is red.
Hello, my name is Talia, and my favorite color is purple.
Hello, my name is Clay. My favorite color is green.
Hello, my name is Vivian, and I have a couple colors to share. So to make a blue, the color blue, you take a B and you shake it. And to make the color yellow, you take a Y and you shake it, like the house are colors. And then there's also no, where you put your 2 fingers to the thumb like this. And then yes, like you're knocking on a door. And thank you, like this. Thank you.
Okay, so my thing is a bit longer. I am the delightful presentation that I really overprepared for. So, this is the schedule. It's a schedule. It shouldn't take too long. So, hi, I'm Apollo. That's A-P-O-L-L-O. And information. I'm just letting it soak in. And I'm gonna start with the numbers. So it's pretty basic when you get up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then this is 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. And it's pretty straightforward, and it's really fun to go like this. Especially when you build up speed. Then we've got the alphabet. The alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, which is yellow but still, and Z, which is just like Z in the air. And now a little game, because I got bored of putting things in the slideshow. It's a memory game, which you might remember if you looked at the schedule. Big brain. So, what sign is this? Anybody?
It's a number.
7.
A consensus on 7?
8.
8 over here, 7 over here. It was 8. It's kind of, the image is kind of confusing because you don't really get that that's the middle finger, so. And then this one's pretty easy. This is easy mode.
L.
Yeah.
Even I remember that one.
And this is where I'm gonna stop.
Hi, my name is L.A. My name is Layla. My favorite color is purple, and I love to read.
And I need to attend the club because I got no skills. So, but thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are all good to go.
I would say just some of the board might have any quick questions.
Yeah.
You have to sign your question.
I don't know how to sign my question.
Can you teach Linda how to sign her question?
I was curious, I mean, not to put anybody on the spot, but just what made you want to join the sign language club, or when you signed up, were there reasons that you had, that you were interested? Oh, okay, yes.
I feel like it could be more informational to me instead of like kickball.
So thank you for sharing. Yeah.
I feel like you are going to come across the people in life, and it'll feel good to communicate with them, especially if my family that knows how to do it, and just a fun thing
No, we could talk secretly.
I love that. Yeah, tell 'em.
I know that it feels good to feel seen and heard, so that's fine.
I love that.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for all the preparation you did for tonight, and it's just great to see student presentation again.
Yeah, thanks for
What
coming
is it? It's like,
tonight after
thank you,
school.
right? Maybe you haven't got to thank you, but I think it's this. Yeah, so thank you
All right, thank
for
you.
being here.
And thank you for bringing the program to Hauser.
Yeah,
Yes.
So great.
Fantastic.
Great. Now you probably have things you have to do this evening, right? So it was great to see you all. Thanks so much.
Could the board be like, we absolve you of your homework?
Yeah, free homework. We have to review that with the teacher.
If you could sign it, then yes, it would be fabulous.
The other thing that I want to share, or Dan and I both want to share, is that October is Principal Appreciation Month. And we actually, the state of Illinois just put out a proclamation on appreciating our Illinois principals. We appreciate them greatly. I noticed they did add a line here about the pandemic and just the tremendous work that our principals do every single day, but in particular during the pandemic, just the crisis management and the management of so many different structures and so many different processes that they took on, and that we were just so grateful to be able to have our children in school. And I know our
Just going back
principals
to
every
the-
single day feel responsible for their safety and well-being of every single staff member and student here, so just greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, going back to the pandemic year, thinking about how many times the schedules had to be reshuffled and rejiggered and rearranged, and all the work that went into that, all the planning that went into that. And you know, we're lucky here in that we're talking about something that's well in the past, but we still have all of our principals from that time now here. So that's we are lucky that we have a great group of folks who've been with us for a while, and definitely they do a wonderful job. We appreciate all the hard work that they put in.
Thanks, Dan. Just moving on, hate to move on from that one because it's such a big one, both of these first two items, but we had our Institute Day on October 11th, and I just wanted to share for everybody the agenda from that day. And I know sometimes parents wonder, what are you doing on a day when our children aren't in school? So a lot of great professional learning opportunities for all of our team members. So that was great. If anybody has any questions, I know Angela's here, Angela, Pam, and Nora, who had a lot to do with putting that day together.
Any feedback on how it went? I know professional development was a big thing with the negotiations and trying to instill that in the culture. How did this one go? Did you get much feedback, I guess?
We did. Oh, we always do.
Yeah, okay. I kind of assumed, but yeah, all right.
It was positive. So the staff members who participated in the CPI training, crisis prevention intervention, they were very appreciative of being able to do it during Institute Day time. The elementary teachers were appreciative of, we broke out the math professional development by grade levels, and so they were appreciative of being able to focus on the pieces of the curriculum that are specific to their grade level areas. At Hauser, we're working on common assessments across the different departments, and so they were appreciative of the time, having time to sit and talk with each other about assessments that they're doing and being able to align them, not just vertically by grade level, but also being able to align and do some interdisciplinary work too. So there was this focus of time and having time to work with colleagues and to discuss and plan and address challenges that they're having. Being able to have that time during that Institute Day was very appreciative to see.
Yep.
I don't know if it's a moot question, but has CPI training changed at all in the last 10 years? I would imagine it has, because of recent national events.
Exclusion and all of those pieces, and more what do I want to say, the responsive,
Like preventative and
de-escalation. So paras did just that part. And then we went over some of the SEL things in the afternoon with them. And then the certified special education staff did more of the hands-on in the afternoon. In the event, in emergency situation, you would need to do that. But a lot of focus on the de-escalation. And how to help students not get to that point where they are so frustrated that, we're outward behavior errors. So, and it has to be done annually now, and it's at 8 hours. So there was some training that they did in advance, plus the 6 hours during the day. So it is a chunk of time, and I know the staff is often concerned about being away from their students because it is a full day, and there's shortage of subs is difficult too. So they were happy to be able to do it.
No, that's great. You had to get some time. Thank you. Thank you.
Was the structure done on this in collaboration with, like, I always get this wrong, like the building leadership or like whatever, any of those committees that we had of, like, did they provide suggestions on the content or the structure or anything, or was it all?
No, it was administrative driven, so the building leaders, myself, and Nora, all talked about what the needs were, and we worked together to try to schedule it out so that we're able to address what the building leaders were seeing as needs.
Okay.
We did hear from special education leadership team representatives to give us some feedback as to what they wanted for the CPI for Institute Day.
Thanks for that. The other thing, we have our Illinois State Report Card that will be released on October 27th. The information is actually all what they officially call embargoed, so it is not something to be shared publicly. It's something we will share publicly at the November 2nd Committee, the whole meeting. But I think it's always important for the board to understand that this report card will be released. I believe it's released to the media in advance of the October 27th date. So we look forward to sharing that information when we are able to share that, but it always sort of falls at an interesting time, sort of after this meeting and in between the next one. So, but we do look forward to sharing that information, and it's kind of a back to business, but with some added elements. That during the pandemic, a lot of this information just really sort of. Well, we didn't do IAR testing the first year of the pandemic, right? So then children did their state testing. The state has been working toward what they call our equity journey continuum. So that'll now be a piece of the report card. Interestingly, the equity journey continuum, though, looks at our 2018-2019 data and then applies these equity elements to it. So we're still kind of playing catch up from the pandemic and having the most current information. So I wanted everyone to understand, like, it's an interesting conglomeration of information that'll be compiled into the report card. But Angela will give a detailed overview at the November COW meeting. Any questions just about kind of process or the report card in general, without getting into specifics?
You have it, like you're going through it now.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah. Leaders have it, and I know there is a release to the media that comes up, and I think it's soon, like it's before it gets shared with the general public. The other thing I wanted to share, just an exciting element. So I know the board's familiar with the WSCAE, the West Suburban Consortium for Academic Excellence. This is a group of 15 districts in our West Suburban area that come together. Really kind of with this big idea of putting together events that many of us, being relatively small districts, wouldn't necessarily be able to do on our own. So they put on an art fair that probably many of you have been to, or perhaps your children's art has been featured. There was a Brookfield Zoo Science Fair, really popular event. That has actually been sort of put on hold because of the pandemic, and now it's unclear if Brookfield Zoo is able to give us, the space, and I think they also provide us with judges, et cetera. So looking at options to bring that back. There's still a lot of commitment to bringing that one. It's just the sort of reconfiguring it is more challenging than we thought. But the other thing that WSCA used to offer was what we call out-of-level testing. It was SAT or ACT testing for children that were demonstrating certain levels of advanced academics, and parents really more had an interest in children taking an out-of-level test just to kind of see how they would perform and learn something from that profile. That actually has also gone away. It was somewhat pandemic-driven, and some of it has been just changes happening in the national testing stage. So with that, we decided to replace. The superintendent group was really invested in finding something that was perhaps more hands-on for students anyway. Coming to school to take a test on a Saturday may not have been the most thrilling thing for them to do. So this is going to be a student leadership conference that the WSCA districts are hosting. It's going to be just for 7th and 8th grade students. At this point, we're starting small, 10 children per district, so it'll be about 150 students gathering on November 4th. all will be at the Hodgkins Park District, and the idea is that it's a leadership workshop for students. It's going to be run students with students. The students from Oak Park River Forest High School who are in a leadership class will come and lead middle school students through some hands-on collaboration, problem-solving activities, moving towards sort of hands-on problem-solving in kind of fun ways with mini obstacle courses and that kind of thing, but also then at the end of the day really culminating in thinking about their own local school, their own local environment, and what they can do to problem solve and support positive change at Hauser specifically. So I know Chris will be attending in April, myself, Angela, sort of watching the kids and seeing how this all goes, but also excited to hear how a group of 10 Hauser students will help us think about ways to make Hauser better. I kind of envision that they may come talk to the board about what they decide to work on as well. So we're excited about that shift and change. And again, probably the unfortunate thing is it's only for a small number of kids, but I think we have to start small and see where we can take something like this. So I'm excited about that.
How did those children submit like an application, or how were they selected?
We selected them from current student leadership clubs and organizations. So there's a student leadership, Chris is still, it's the student leadership club. So it was very hard to decide how, and we decided that we would take children that were already looking at some of these problems and seeing it kind of in a mission that they had taken on, and that. Anything else you'd add to that, Chris? We went round and round about how to best do it, because 10 is a small number out of an entire student body.
2 grades, though, too.
7th and 8th grade, yeah.
Yeah, so we selected 5 8th graders, 5 7th graders. And the student leadership team is something that just was kind of lost in the pandemic years, and it's really coming back again this year. So they put on the school dance, so that happened last Friday, which was probably the best one that was attended. And, the time that I've been here, it was really great. So they've had a couple meetings, and just the teachers kind of let us know that sponsor that club. Like, here are some kids that are really passionate, that are in here, that are kind of steering the ship for us, and those are the kids that we want with.
Cool. Should be fun.
Do they all travel together? It's just a silly logistical
I think
question, but
we're
it would be
relying
neat if they could
yes,
go together.
Yes,
I mean,
I think we're relying on parent carpools
Are you?
because
Okay.
busing has been such a challenge for
yeah,
us.
I'm not surprised about the buses, but
It'd be great to take them all over on a bus. They'll get a matching shirt.
Oh,
they'll all have
right.
a
I'm sure they'll be
together.
fine,
Yeah. I think there are 150 students participating, and another 150 OPRF students coming to
wow.
lead the event.
Dang.
that's a lot of OPR.
Yeah. That's their whole makeup of their leadership class, and so they decided they wanted to bring them all.
They bring them
So
all.
it'll be a 1-to-1 ratio of student
kinda
leaders with
neat.
student leaders. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, we will let you know how it goes. A first year version of that. And that is the superintendent's report.
All right. Thank you, Martha. All right, next up is the consent agenda. Can the board secretary read the contents of tonight's consent agenda?
Yes, sir. So tonight's consent agenda consists of meetings of previous minutes from September 7th, 2022, Committee of the Whole, September 21st, 2022, closed session, and regular business meeting, the personnel report as presented, and payables pre-list from September 30th, 2022, and October 19th, 2022. And that is it.
All right. Does anyone need an item removed for special consideration? All right, then is there a motion that the board approve tonight's consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Kathy, can you call the roll?
Okay, Mr. Muirhead?
Aye.
Ms. Gunn?
Aye.
Ms. Kleiber?
Hi.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Marhol?
Aye.
Mr. Barsadi?
Aye.
Mr. Hunt?
Aye.
All right, motion passes.
All right, and next is Riverside Education Council. Do not appear to be here tonight. Board member comments. Anybody go to the dance? I'm curious. How's the music?
DJ Maximus.
All right. Good.
Wear black or wear neon, right? Wasn't that the?
Yeah, so it was a blackout. That was like the theme of it. So
Cool.
students, with kind of our spirit days for the week, they had competing ideas. So one of the days was like, country, like dress up like country, like cowboy hats, that sort of thing, or dress up like country club. So just giving more people a chance to participate. And then for the dance, it was a blackout versus neon. So with the lights out, there were glow sticks, and you know, we were all black. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a great time. I know it's early in the school year. Has anybody been doing anything of note? No. We'll work on it for next meeting.
Yeah.
All right. Then that brings us next to committee reports. First up is facilities.
As in your board packet, there's an agenda from the Facilities Advisory Committee meeting. The big thing was presentation of some potential site plans of the Central Hauser campus. They need some further development, but they're trying to cover all the bases in terms of giving the gym teachers more defined space, plus the parking, and there will have to be a discussion with the village, obviously. We talked about that last time around, about some negotiation with the village about parking requirements and additional spaces. That'll be further developed, and at this point, DLA needs to discuss that with the village, including Chief Buckley, about emergency access. So some more developed plans will be up in front of us soon enough. And then we also we know that we've got the bids for the auditorium, and those were extended by, I think, 2 weeks, with giving the bidders some more information and trying to make sure that we got sufficient number of bids and sufficient interest. So those will be here in 2 weeks, I think. And Blythe Park, you'll see that those bids are obviously coming in a month and a half, and Ramesh is refining the cost estimate to reflect current prices, and we talked about that a bit, and trying to make sure there's sufficient contingency in his estimate. So he's going to be looking at some things, and we'll see that possibly in 2 weeks. And then there was discussion about specifically the plans at Blythe. I'm reading off the agenda now. Just some refinements to that design potentially, and then some operational issues, things that did or did not get done at Ames and in the vicinity of that campus. Did I miss anything?
No, you actually did a very good job summarizing.
So in regards to that, the Hauser Auditorium bids, I mean, was there concern on that, or something were we not getting?
No, I think it's just making sure that all the potential bidders see that there's an advertisement out for the work.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of this is about communicating to the potential vendors, the contractors. I think that might have been a little too few bids at first, but I don't remember now, so don't quote me on that.
There were two, I don't remember exactly the number, but we did not get.
And that's why I hate to get quoted when I'm wrong.
Did Ramesh say if costs are generally continuing to increase, or has it plateaued at all? I don't know if he mentioned it.
That's part of the problem, is we don't know.
We don't know.
Costs, energy is, as you know, all over the place, and so any of the parking lot items, for instance, anything asphalt is going to cost more, because that's directly related to oil, and then steel is another. It's got a lot of unpredictability to it. So his estimates will be slightly higher, but he's trying his best to refine those in light.
I was really hoping the costs would be lower.
Yeah.
And then we have another meeting scheduled in 2 weeks.
November 7th.
Yes.
Yeah, so it'll be after the next committee of the whole. But at the next committee,
All right.
November 2, we'll.
3 weeks.
Right, 3, okay.
That was
yeah,
close.
Time flies.
See, this is why I can't be quoted.
Yeah.
So for the bids coming in, are we going to vote on those in 2 weeks, or we're going to review those in 2 weeks and then vote on them?
We'll have a
Next month, right?
recommendation.
November meeting, I'm guessing?
Yeah, so the November 2nd meeting, will we vote on them,
We'll-
on that recommendation at that? in 2
November
weeks?
2nd will be committee of the whole.
Right, but we're
Well,
talking about
that's
making
what
it a
I'm
special
saying.
meeting.
Because it was
so
supposed
we
to be
can
tonight.
take board
Right.
action, yeah. on
Okay.
that.
It would be to approve acceptance of the bid,
Yeah, 'cause
because
we don't wanna wait
it's
much
low
longer
bid.
than that.
This is a low bid situation, so
Yeah.
you deviate from low bid with with great reluctance.
All right. Thank you, Joel. Next up is Policy Committee.
Nothing new on policy since our committee of the whole meeting, based on the conversation at the board table and just some guidance. I'll be coming up with kind of more of a monitoring calendaring system for us to just continually be reviewing our policies outside of the Press Plus updates that we have. So I'm hoping to get that sort of sorted out sometime next month. I just need to get through this month work-wise, and then I can give this some more attention. But ball is certainly in my court to get this moving. But yeah.
Did you get that disco ball you were talking about?
I'm still waiting. No. Yeah.
All right.
It's in the Hauser auditorium budget.
Oh, yeah. That must be it. All right. Then next up is Education Committee.
Yeah, at the last committee of the whole, Angela gave us an overview of curriculum updates and
Just the goals. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously we talked about e-learning last time, so
Yeah.
we'll be talking about that later today.
yeah, things we'll be voting on, and we are meeting on Friday. So, yep.
All right. Then Personnel Committee.
Nothing, been pretty quiet. Martha, meeting in a couple weeks to talk about a few things, but nothing for tonight.
All right. And Finance.
Nope, nothing to report. Pretty quiet as well.
Okay. That is it for committees. Then that brings us to old business. The first item, as was just mentioned, District 96 e-learning plan. Is there a motion that the Board of Education approve the District 96 e-learning plan as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay, Kathy, can you call the roll?
Okay, Ms. Gunn?
Aye.
Ms. Kleiber?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Marhol?
Aye.
Mr. Barsadi?
Aye.
Mr. Muirhead?
Aye.
Mr. Hunt?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
All right, next item under old business is the executive summary measures and SMARTY goals. Is there a motion that the Board of Education adopt the executive summary regarding District 96's strategic plan as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, Kathy, can you call the roll?
Okay, Ms. Kleiber?
Aye.
Ms. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Marhol?
Aye.
Mr. Barsadi?
Aye.
Mr. Muirhead?
Aye.
Ms. Gunn?
Aye.
And Mr. Hunt?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
All right, and we had an item listed here for additional discussion, so no vote on this?
Yeah, this one doesn't really require board action, just feedback from the board. I know you've shared, positive feedback. We talked about this additional group, decided to move forward with the West 40 proposal. But I think one of the things we did talk about, and the board all had their photos taken tonight, was starting our board highlights now. I know we had talked about waiting till spring to do that, but we'll go ahead and work that into our website and other communications with the help of West 40. Obviously, the community report would wait till spring, summertime. And then the communications audit, we've already kind of started just gathering. We're going to do that somewhat informally by gathering principal communication, my communications, et cetera, and start to look at sort of frequency, timing, content, see what other additional feedback and advice we can get from West 40. And then I know we had talked about whether or not to move forward with the strategic plan video just around timing. Something I sort of envision as maybe launching even the start of next year, but already using some opportunities this year to gather some video and information. So just wanted to update you on all that because we had left a few questions, I think, more open-ended last time we had talked about it.
I like how they laid this out.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems pretty clear and comprehensive of what they're going to do, so
yeah,
just a good draft of what we can expect out of them, I thought.
No, this seems like the right thing to do and leverage something that West 40 offers. I'm sure they'll use us as an example of the good work they can do, so I think that's partially where that discounted rate comes from. Yes, and that's okay.
All right, and then the total budget coming in at 7,700. That's roughly what we were thinking of before.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for continuing to think about that.
Yes. Sounds like a good thing. I'm glad we're moving forward with it. Okay, then that brings us to new business. The first item under new business is the tax levy initial discussion.
Thanks. I'd like to present the initial 2022 tax levy. This will need to be filed by the last Tuesday in December. Just to remind you that almost 90% of our revenues come from property taxes, so this is a big part of where our money comes from. Just wanted to go over a couple of definitions. The purpose of the levy extension and collection process is to convert the district's tax base into revenue. The levy is really what the amount we're requesting. Right now for 2022, I have in here $28,698,309. What will be billed to people is really the extension. So the county clerk will adjust our levy, and it's usually very close. You can see in the last 2 years, it was really close to what we asked for, within a few $1,000s. Oops. Here's the timetable. The first two things that are checked is when the CPI came out in January, the 7%. And then tonight, we're just going over the initial tax levy. And next month, we'll have the hearing and approve it, hopefully, and then I can get it filed. And then after New Year's, going into next year, we'll start receiving people's payments from the first installment and second installment. After the first installment, that's when they finalize the tax rate and calculate that second bill. As we're going through the blue steps, which is 2022, we're also kind of finishing out 2021. That's when we get the installment and the final tax rate in the second installment for 2021. And when we file this by December 29th, 2 weeks later, we get the CPI for the 2023. So there's always something happening with the tax levy. Updated our CPI history here. There's 3 years that are kind of flat there, 2018, 19, and 20. And then, as we all know, last year, we ended up at 7%. It was climbing all year long. So that was a year of inflation. We had 7%, and we found out in January. But with tax cap, we're only allowed to ask for 5%. So the levy reflects that request. Oh, I just thought there was one that was going to say questions, so I'll just say it. Questions?
Given how high up the CPI is recently, is that something that we're going to see reflected back in folks' property taxes?
It could be. It's so complicated. It really has to do what every taxing district asks for. And if they're all allowed to ask 5%, I'd assume the grand total will go up about 5%. And if it's still divided out the way it was previously, it'll be fairly shared, but maybe
Jim,
not.
do you know if there's there's no taxing bodies that are exempt from PTEL, are there?
I don't know the answer. As I was saying that, I was wondering.
And that's the only way you could go over the 5% unless someone has a referendum. And I don't think we've heard
that
the village has talked about a referendum to go from a bond to just a straight up infrastructure. But that's the only thing we've heard about, so it should stick near 5.
I assume everyone is part of that. Because we're only maybe a third of your tax bill at the most, so.
I was thinking it was a cap. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that.
All right.
I guess
Anything else?
Back to you, Jim. Have you, in your discussions with the other chief business officers, have you guys been talking about any early inflationary trends in just insurance and?
Not any worse than what we have here. Our expenses haven't gone up as much. It's very specific items, like gasoline and things that we don't buy a lot of that was driving this. So we're, in a way, seeing the benefit of on the revenue side without as much of the expense going up.
Just in general, Dan, I mean, I think I've always supported taxing up to that limit because that keeps us on pace with inflation and increased costs. And in fact, in this case, we might be slightly under increased costs because the max that we intend to do is 5% versus inflation. So,
right. As I recall from our previous couple of business managers ago, David Sellers, I remember, was very insistent that going up to what was available was something the board would always want to consider doing. Otherwise, money is essentially gone from the rolls from that point forward.
That's true. I'm less concerned about that than we know that our costs are going to increase about in line with inflation. So this potentially avoids a referendum later on because we're meeting our revenues match expenses. That's our goal.
Although it doesn't sound like he was saying expenditures are going to be at that same level, so I don't know.
Right.
I feel good about what he's done, but I don't think it's the same as what you're saying that it's going to match our 5%.
Well, but what I'm saying is that if we raise our levy by 5% and we know that inflation is 7%, and some expenses will certainly be up near 7%, then it'll balance. On a good day, the 5% is probably about right.
Or higher than inflation too. I mean, inflation's an average, so, and we've got facilities work coming down the pike, so.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It's always a matter of when do you do something, and it's an interesting mathematical equation, isn't it? So, thank you.
Anything else for me? Anything else?
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the IASB Joint Annual Conference, November 18th through the 20th. I believe in downtown Chicago. And this is something during our self-evaluation we discussed. Perhaps is this a year maybe one or two of us go? If anyone is interested, is this something that we'd be interested in attending some of the sessions, seeing how they are? Maybe dipping a toe in the water and informing the rest of the board about it.
I didn't quite figure out the schedule. I didn't realize the 18th and the 20th part. I knew, I guess Saturday's like the delegate meeting and then sort of like the lunch. So are we realistically probably just talking about Saturday?
Well, I think there's more to it than just the voting. I know that's pretty much all that we've taken part of in the past, yes. But I believe there are conferences, there are presentations, there are sessions for board members that we haven't attended in the past.
Right. I mean, I know this is open to like all of us. I mean, I think it'd be beneficial if some of us went this year. So, I mean, if people are so inclined.
Yeah, I was trying to find a full, like an agenda for some reason. I was having a hard time.
There's a conference planner, so it'll say like on Friday, there's an equity journey continuum. If you click on, there's a bar that says conference planner, it'll give you the agenda of the.
So you might have to click on the website now. You might have to click into the registration link. You don't have to follow through on the registration, but I think that there's a lot. But I agree, some of this can be hard to sort of follow the link. You get the time, you get the accommodations, but to really see what the sessions are. But when you click register, you do get into the names of the sessions and the timing.
I don't think you have to go into the registry, actually. I think it's just underneath that. It says
Okay.
conference planner. I might be wrong, but when I went in there, it was allowing me to see the Friday
Okay.
agenda, but maybe I'm wrong.
Or maybe there's more than one way to see it.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Oh, no, you're right, they have the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
listed
it's,
out there.
and there are a lot of topics.
Yeah.
So,
Is this something we want to pursue, or is anyone? And I guess to clarify as well, that we're just talking about participation in the conference. Folks would not be staying overnight. At least downtown Chicago, they're free to stay at their own houses.
Are we? Do we have to?
Looks like most of the hotels are sold out already, the ones listed. I won't be able to attend this year, I won't be here, but definitely up for looking at it, planning for it a little bit more in advance next year, if I want to do it.
And it's, I think, always that weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's
It is
such a
the tough
tricky
part,
weekend.
yes.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It is the tough part. It's also the first week of where school's starting to be off as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I'm happy to connect offline with Kathy or whomever, perhaps for registration. I'd be interested in attending. I don't know that I can commit to the full, now that I see the conference, the full day on Saturday, because I have some plans that begin towards the end of the day, but I could likely attend a significant portion of it, and had indicated, I think last year my mom was in town, but this year she won't be, so unfortunately, so I think, yeah.
And Kathy's happy to process the registration, although I think you do a lot of clicking on the sessions you want to attend,
So it might just be easier to.
Right.
Dan, I'm not sure, I think there is a set registration fee, and
Yeah.
then some might be pre-workshops and things like that, so.
Yeah.
And there
So
are
if
some-
you're interested, you want to let Kathy know.
There are some interesting topics here. Just,
Yeah.
attracting and retaining diverse staff in a
Yeah.
teacher shortage, national standards of family school partnerships. I mean, a couple things that are like directly in our current objectives.
There are a lot of equity issues this year, which is
Yeah, it
kind
looks
of
like
in
they have
line
a
with
whole
those
big
SMARTY
bunch,
goals
yeah.
that we were looking at.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm inclined to be able to participate in 75 to 80% of it. But I don't know, maybe it would be helpful, like even as you all give examples of what sessions might be useful, not that you have to, dictate which sessions I go to, but if there are any that would be of high interest to the board collectively, and assuming I attend, would be happy to steer myself towards those.
Sure, I'll plan your day for you.
Just stop me.
You're gonna go here?
I mean, some of those same ones are standing out to me, but I hate to overlook something that the majority is interested in. So.
We got one. Anybody else?
We got one. I will have to look into it a little more, though, and was just planning something in the last couple days that would conflict with it.
Yeah.
So I'll have to look into that a little further. Downtown, looks like it says there are three hotels.
Yeah.
Kind of around the run where the graduate school is for you, Chicago.
that Hyatt's right there.
Yeah.
The Hyatt and the one across the street, I think, are the main
Right.
conference centers or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, okay.
I'm possibly available that day as well.
Possibly as well, although I'm very much on the fence at this point, because I literally started planning something this week that would conflict, not realizing it would conflict, of course.
No, I hadn't seen the full agenda, but I'm
Yeah.
available Friday. I'm available 90% of Saturday, with the exception of maybe the last sessions towards the end of the day.
Well, October 14th is the last day for a refund, so if we're gonna sign up, you
Yes, we have to.
To 75%
We're
of
gonna
it.
do it, we have to make sure that we actually attend.
Yeah.
But for just looking ahead, I would totally be on for trying to plan around it if the topics made sense to try to go next year. I just won't be able to this year.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, actually, because looking at it, there are quite a few things that are of interest.
Right.
Yeah, I can't do that day. 'Cause that's I work the entire day and have rehearsals, so I can't in the afternoon either, but they are some interesting topics.
It's interesting. Well, it would be just great for this board for someone to go. 'Cause as long as I've been on the board, I don't know that anyone has ever gone.
I went.
You went? Okay.
Yeah.
How was it?
We focused on some pre-conference workshops the year I went, so yeah, it was helpful. It was the first year I was on the board. Maybe even the second year? Yeah, the first 2 years. Yeah. Good information, connecting with other, people in similar roles.
Would we send someone, or me, or someone as a delegate? If so, like, when would we discuss the items that are up for recommendation? I think I only saw a few.
That's the next.
Yeah, that's actually the next topic.
Sorry.
All right.
No worries.
I'm available Friday and Saturday morning, all the way up until probably the 3 o'clock session. I would attend. I'd have to see about the Sunday morning stuff.
Didn't look like there was very much on
No.
Sunday.
Yeah, it didn't look
It's
like
pretty
that.
sparse that day.
Okay, so it sounds like at least one person will go, maybe a couple others.
Okay. Well, we'd definitely love to hear back about it. Let's see, anything else on this, or should we move on to the rest of resolutions that Stephanie was mentioning? So yes, I guess then the next item is the IASB resolutions for consideration. And so let's see, I don't know, do we pick, or we should already have a representative, right? Is that you, Stephanie, or?
Yeah.
If I'm there, I think so.
And I think you've only sent a representative. There was also
There's
an
issue
issue that
that
felt
really
very
want
important
to-
to
Okay.
vote on.
We haven't
Okay.
always had that
Right.
that distinction for our
Yeah.
board, but
So all those
I think you went
resolutions
once,
are
right?
there.
And I've gone once.
I remember that was interesting to hear your take on that, David.
Yeah.
I will say most districts send somebody though.
Yeah.
Right.
When you're in the room, it's hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably best practice to get in that habit.
Right.
Well, was there anything out of the resolutions report this year that drew special interest from anyone on the board, or?
I looked at a number of them. I didn't read the whole thing, but I did look at a number of them. I do think there are some here that are pretty important. We should probably take a look at it in a little bit more detail, sort of digest what some of the resolutions are.
Important but not hot button.
Important but not hot button, right?
We've had some
buttons.
real
Right.
rough
Yeah, we've had
ones.
hot buttons. I mean, there's one in here that I wanted to dive a little bit deeper in, because I think I'm not sure how it's going to affect us, but it's dealing with finances and
The
reserves.
Miller one?
Yes.
I think that one is actually where the resolution that they have, that bumps up the criteria to make it better for us.
I read it differently.
Oh,
That's
then we
why I
should-
want to read
yeah,
it.
we should
look
discuss.
at it a little bit closer, because, like I said, I didn't just look at it today, but I haven't spent much time on it.
Which one is it, Dave?
The
The
first
Miller,
one.
the
The
very
first
first
one.
one.
Yeah,
is,
Miller ratio adjustment?
Yeah, Miller ratio adjustment, yeah.
It's,
3 new, and that's one of the new ones. Fund balances, Miller ratio adjustment.
and Dave it is important to us because it identifies that there's a law somewhere in state code that lets citizens sue the district
Yeah.
if their fund balance is higher than a certain ratio.
Right.
What I thought was interesting is that it actually applies to fund balances and not the whole budget. So it
Yeah,
actually
that's-
gets pretty narrowly
Right.
tailored. I could imagine that one getting pretty ugly if someone was
Right.
so choose to sue.
I don't know if that's something that happens to other districts more often, or I don't recall it ever happening with us.
No, but like I said, just because it hasn't happened doesn't
Oh,
mean
yeah,
we
yeah,
shouldn't.
absolutely.
We
Yeah.
shouldn't be paying attention to it. So,
Mhm.
so I guess if I could, I don't know how many people, I don't know how much time people spent on this, but I think we should probably take a look at it And
Well, so that's something maybe we can discuss a little further in detail.
Right, because we have time, I mean, we
We
can
have-
bring it up at the November COW meeting, or even November board.
Yeah.
No, November board will be after the conference, right?
is it going to be after?
It might be just before.
Yeah, it's
Right
gonna be
before.
because the-
Just right before. Right
Wednesday
before.
before,
Right,
yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Should we talk about it? Is that something that would make sense to talk about at the November 2nd meeting?
Sure.
Okay. And I guess in the meantime, if folks have something in particular, I guess, and David, I don't know if it makes sense to reach out to Martha and myself and say this one in particular, we should pay special attention to it, because there are quite a few listed.
Yeah. So, thing is, I might not be here November 2nd, but I might be here remotely.
Okay.
I'll probably be traveling that day.
Yeah,
so.
that's fine.
I mean, here physically, that is. So.
Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah.
All right, and that's okay if you're remote when we discuss it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Durham Policy Committee, what's that?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Sure.
Yeah, it feels like.
Definitely. All right, so anything else on that? If not, then that brings us back again to public comment. Any additional public comment?
There's not.
Okay. And that takes us to future meeting dates. November 2nd, as we just mentioned, special meeting 7 p.m. Ames Multipurpose Room. So not as a committee of the whole, but special board meeting that time. November 16th is our regular business meeting, 7 p.m. Hauser Learning Resource Center. Board will enter into closed session at 6:15 p.m. if necessary, and return to open session at 7 p.m. December 7th, 2022, Committee of the Whole, 7 p.m., Blythe Park Multipurpose Room. December 21st, regular business meeting, 7 p.m., Hauser Learning Resource Center. Board will enter into closed session at 6:15 p.m. if necessary, and return to open session at 7 p.m. And if there is nothing else, going once, going twice. This meeting is adjourned.